Hello, everyone. It's Victor speaking, and I am here today to continue our educational videos. And today I want to be speaking about conjunctions because conjunctions can be quite difficult to interpret. And I would like to give you some insight how to tackle them. If you wish to dive into them deeper, then I will be making a webinar on how to interpret stelliums. And stelliums are when you have got more than 3 planets in one zodiacal sign. And we're going to have to figure out who is the alpha dog in that stellium. And you should be paying attention to that planet. So conjunction occurs when there are 2 or more planets being very close to each other. And typically I use sign-based conjunctions. So I don't believe it's very major when you have got a planet, let's say in Cancer, but still conjuncting a planet in Leo. And the importance of the conjunction is always the order of the planets. You can give them maximum an 8-degree orb, but sometimes it might be bigger, especially when the sun or the moon are involved. And the best you can do is if you describe these energies, if it's more than 8-degree difference between the 2 planets, to the people, to your clients, and see how they resonate with their conjunction. So as I have mentioned before, with the conjunctions, you need to check who is the leading planet, who is earlier in degree, and that is going to be the leading planet of your conjunction. So for instance, imagine that you have got a transit happening, and you have got a Mars-Pluto conjunction in your chart. The response is going to be the first planet's energy. So in this case, it's going to be a Marsian response. And how does Mars react to certain things? In a dynamic way. Mars is quite hot-headed. It takes the initiatives. It's a very competitive planet. However, if it happens the other way around, so you have got Pluto earlier in degree than Mars, then your response is going to be quite Plutonian. So it's going to be intense, emotional. You might withdraw yourself from certain situations and you're going to be just observing what is going on, what is happening around you. Or you are going to be manipulating others, maybe with your emotional reactions. Pluto, of course, it very much depends on the sign. So if it's like in a water sign, then you might use more like psychological ways to approach the situation, whatever the transiting planet brings you. It is also very important to look at the mode of the conjunctions. So in astrology, we have got 3 modalities: cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Cardinal is an action-orientated energy. The modes in astrology describe the way you represent the energy. So cardinal is a go-getter, it's an initiator, it's action-orientated. It is all about getting out there and then conquering the world. Cardinal energy seeks challenges, activity. It wants to make things happen. So it's more of a directive energy. When we talk about fixed signs, and it's all about stability. It wants to establish, it wants to sustain something. Usually they tend to be holding on to things as well. So they tend to be stubborn and they don't want to change the situation. And when it comes to mutable energy, well, that's all about flexibility. So their approach is, okay, do we need to move? Then I'm going to be moving tomorrow. It's no problem. It is all about curiosity, gaining knowledge. And they sometimes tend to be having a dissipated energy level as well. So that's going to be very important because the planets can only function the way the modality allows them. And also I would be looking at what type of houses are activated. We've got three types of houses: the angular, succedent, and cadent houses. The angulars are the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. Succedent is the 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th. And the cadent are the 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 12th houses. Now, the angular houses are also very action-orientated. Every single planet likes being in those because they are ready to do something. They are ready to manifest their energies. However, when it's a succedent energy, then it's going to be more about, again, stability, holding on to things. But the succedent houses want to rise to power. And the cadent houses are all about falling from power, actually. So the more planets you have got in the cadent houses, the less power those planets have. Imagine that those planets don't have so much room to move around. So another thing which I would be considering with conjunctions, whether they are applying or separating. The separating conjunctions tend to play out more in your earlier life, while applying one follow you through in your entire life. Always consider whether the two planets making the conjunctions are good couple or not. So you can simply do that by comparing their nature. So Moon and Venus have got the same nature. Both of them are cold and wet energy. Mercury and Saturn also have got the same nature. They are cold and dry. And last but not least, we've got the Sun and the Mars, who are hot and dry. Jupiter does not have a pair. Jupiter is a hot and wet quality. Of course, when they are completely different to each other, so there is nothing common in their nature, then that is classified as a hard conjunction. So for instance, imagine that you have got, for instance, Sun and Saturn conjunction. Sun is a hot and dry planet, Saturn is a cold and dry planet. So there is actually, there is something in common between them two, which is the dryness. However, if Sun is coming together with a cold and wet planet, which is, for instance, Venus and Moon, it could be a little bit of a challenge. Also consider the keywords to each of the planets and see what is common and what is different between them too. So, for instance, if you have got a Moon and Venus conjunction, well, they both love loving. So there is something common going on in between them. However, if you have got a Moon and Saturn conjunction going on, one wants to nurture, the other one focuses on its career. So there could be a little bit of a tension going on between those two planets. So I would like, for instance, maybe to share an example with you. Let me just share my screen and open the program as well. So I am going to be using my chart, and then you can see that I have got a stellium going on in my 10th house. I am sharing my screen, right? Oh, no, I am not. Okay, so one more time. So you can see that I have got a stellium going on in my 10th house, and you can see that the leading planet is Moon. Now, let's imagine that, well, approximately about 2014, towards the end of the year, and 2015, Saturn was in and out of my 10th house. Saturn is the planet of challenges. So it could bring obstacles, restrictions in your career. Of course, at the end of the day, it is talking about hard work, putting the energy in, and eventually, somehow, you're going to get paid for all the effort. You're going to get recognized for all your effort, what you put into the area of life, wherever Saturn goes through. So because it started transiting my 10th house, and the very first planet it had a contact with was Moon. So I might have had an emotional response to the events having taken place in my career at that time. Instead of maybe if it was Jupiter, seeing the opportunities. So I can tell you that at the time I got transferred to a new restaurant as a business manager, and it was very chaotic. I had to work a lot. I was working 16 hours a day, and my emotional response was very moony. So my mood was up and down. Uh, I'm gonna be honest. I was on the verge of crying. It was a very, very tough period. Also, the 10th house is very much about parenting as well. So I even had issues with one of my parents. And yes, my response to it was very, very emotional. So I hope this makes sense. It gives you a little bit of an idea how you can interpret conjunctions in your chart. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to also mention that we are that moon is in mutable energy, right? In a mutable sign, however, in an angular house. So what we learned today was that the angular houses are all about let's take action. So when basically when the shit hit the fan, my emotional response, moon, was to take action and leave my job. Well, that was the third time when Saturn hit my moon. The very first time I kind of ignored it, and then I decided to suffer, right? But the 10th house eventually brought the action part of things into the picture. And because it's a mutable sign, and then I said mutable is all about questioning and learning, and we are drawn to joining with others. It's all about gaining more knowledge, being very flexible, right? Um, so at the same time, I started working with my astrological business. And then I stepped up my gears and I studied even more. I started writing articles and so forth, just to get ready for the period of time when I'm going to be able to share that knowledge with you guys as well. So I hope this short video helps you how to interpret your conjunctions, and I'm hoping to see you on my Stellium webinar, which is going to be taking place in the middle of March. Have a beautiful weekend, everyone, and see you shortly with my next video. Don't forget to press like and also press the notification bell so that you can listen to me more often. Thank you, everyone, and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.